opens up more than just...
So, my one issue with that, right, is the ride-down play isn't nearly as much value in this matchup as it would be in another matchup, because Jewel Knights can and will happily fight you in grade 2.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the one thing is, like, because the ride-down is kind of what Nine tends to rely on a little bit, but in this state, you know, it's kind of harder to rely on putting them in a state where the deck is still comfortable. The Jewel Knights is still comfortable too.
I do think if you're able to push them well enough, then you could.
You
Yeah.
Like, look, it's not even the deck he plays. He knows one, he knows plays deck really well. Two, he knows how to play really well against Cespedes. I just really hate this match. I know. It's fun. I will get there eventually.
Ethan is opting for turn player. I said Ethan is opting for being turn player.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks like he did drive check a heal early. Ethan for 1 damage. A little bit of a confusion there. You drew for the draw trigger and then forgot to draw. Get that fixed real quick.
It doesn't matter. Let me cross that. That's what I had with the right. And the draw first. It clicks. I see. Don't even stress. It's this card in case you want to see it, but it'll be from top 7.
So they're just clarifying what the issue is, what happened, and both players are okay to move forward with the swamp stake. It didn't end up changing the game state at all. Especially when you're playing, you know, this far into a higher stakes tournament, those kind of small mistakes are very easy to, you know, just nerves alone.
So Ethan's just playing a very joke, putting the high rarity Alice into the soul.
Yeah.
You're never enough. For me, you're just right. That's right. I know you are.
You could tell these two play against each other a lot.
Yeah.
It's happened so many times. You know what's going on. I know, I saw. Once you did that, I was like, either you don't have the cards you want. Honestly.
It's just as funny. It's just like, imagine you have you have your one SP that you really like, but then you have like you ride the triple rare copy and the SPs and the damage. You're like, can I just swap
Hey, you know
these?
what? It's not getting shuffled, so
Yeah.
you're keeping it more pristine. It's more value in the long run, you know?
All right. So obviously, Brenda's going to be calling out a card from Soul and then pushing herself in.
It's like we're getting the Alice, so
Yep. And then we are going to
just swap them.
yeah. So basically, for everybody who didn't follow what just happened, so Brenda's gonna
shortcutting plays, basically.
So Brenda is calling a card from the Soul, and then what's gonna happen is she pushes herself from the Soul, and then Brenda gets called out, which is then gonna just push out Alice, basically. So we're just shortcutting into what the end goal is gonna happen.
It's a very common play with Emeralds, so just quick shortcutting, getting the power that they would have in the board state. It's the same in board state.
To be fair, I think that I've watched so many Pale Moon players that said that if I actually went through all of my plays, we would actually go into time.
The deck does a lot. It has a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
Which is it's a cool aspect, right? Like the deck itself is very interesting. It's just has a bad rep.
I don't think that it has a bad rep. I think the player base of Pale Moon is tired of their clan getting hit constantly.
I think in general, the player base is getting frustrated with them.
Yeah. But like that's ultimately what it comes down to, is that you play a deck so much, and obviously like I used to play Pale Moon for a little bit, not Nightmare Dolls, but I did play
Silverthorn? Silverthorn?
yeah, I played Silverthorns for a while, and everybody, like, when you see another deck doing good in your clan or in your nation, you want the deck to succeed until like it's too much. Bless me.
I almost, when I first got into Premium, right, before I decided on building Jewel Knights, I almost picked Silverthorn, because I didn't know anything about them. I was just looking at cards that I thought looked cool, and I was so dead set on Silverthorn.
Man, I got one look at Venus Lucia and went, oh.
Listen.
I didn't know we allowed these here.
But then I couldn't find a deck list for it for Premium, and I didn't.
See, so here's the
understand
bad
why.
bad thing about that is if you look at a card and you go, oh, this art looks nice, it has waifu text.
True.
Imagine you now saying like, oh, I want to get into Bermuda. You're going to have to pay so much tax.
I'll pass. I got regalia, but it's fine.
So we are going into Erick's turn, where he's going to be using I always forget the name of this card. Sword Me. Yeah.
Sword Me or Lele?
Sword Me. I
Yeah.
know the Lele. Sword Me is the name that escapes me all the time, but
Yeah.
he's able to call out a board.
So Sword Me gets him the Christine. Christine's go reveal the Salem, and then she gets him an Ashley. So he gets a full board.
I think the Christine was from hand. I think he called the
It may have.
yeah, who knows?
Either way, he gets the Christine skill, gets a full board. Most likely we're going to see the same thing we've been seeing. He's going to tuck the Quick Shield in with Sybil.
I do think we're going to see the quickest of heal guards coming down from Ethan's hand, though.
Probably.
Oh my god.
Get the Lele skill up real quick. She gets a 15. He does take the first hit. So maybe there's no heal guardian in hand.
Yeah, that kind
Or
of.
maybe he wanted to confirm some counterblast, you know?
Yeah, maybe. So here we are. The Ashley is going to call out the Lele on top of her.
Yep, so now she's at 25k.
Yep.
After skill. She's going to skill. Yep, we're going to see the Sybil tuck the Quick Shield. So it's 18k. I do not believe he hit a defensive. He's choosing to no guard, and we do see a offensive draw.
And sadly, we are seeing a lack of non-triggers. You know, somewhat you get frustrated that you don't see any defensives at all, but you kind of also are just like,
Oh,
my
I usually-
offensive might be cracked.
I usually never get defensive. But when I turn Minerva sideways, you better be guarding.
Yeah.
Those crits come out, and they come out swinging.
So we are going to 5 damage. Okay. So this is we talked about this at the beginning. Giving Nightmare Dolls too much counterblast. Because basically you're allowing them to do their entire play.
Now the problem is, it is most scary when they are getting to stride.
Yeah.
Ethan is still not on stride turn, so he does have a lot of options for the CB, but nowhere near as threatening as if it were the stride turn. That being said, if we see 0 defensives from Erick, it's still a very threatening turn.
Also, I think this is a testament to Erick's hand. If he's confident at putting Nightmare Dolls at 5 damage, that it does have a testament to what he could.
I would say it's highly likely he has a hit guardian.
Well, we did see him drive check one at the beginning.
True, that's right. He did drive check one for the first deck, so we know he does have a hit guardian. So, just having that alone makes the turn much, much more easier to serve. ahead and shortcutting some more Nightmare Doll
Yep.
stuff. Basically, a card is just going to cycle the soul, call the same unit back out, and it gets 5k. Typical stuff. There's going to be a lot of that just to save time. The two players both understand what the actual working parts are here and what the inboard should be.
So we are going to swing Vanguard unboosted, obviously, because Ethan does expect to be getting another ride play going.
And because he's first ride up, it is only 12k, but that is still hitting. So it's still taking a card from hand, and we do see the heal guard coming down. So I believe this is OT to hit, which obviously we're not going to see there.
So Erick for the turn is at 20k,
Mm-hmm.
which he is going to.
Just double checking. Looks like Ethan is
Yeah.
swinging.
He
at
wanted
the
to make
rear.
sure that
Yep.
the attack didn't have to hit, or if it had to swing at Vanguard,
Yeah.
which we all know here. We are going to see it go in the soul and call it back out. And then since Alice went to soul, Carol, my bad. Carol's effect is going to trigger being able to ride another copy of her on.
Get another Excel, another draw, and another check top. Top 5.
And then he's going to put a card in the soul and then call a card out.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to put another copy of her. Obviously, deck thinning
Is deck
all of
winning.
the bricks out of his deck.
Yeah, get the cards that don't have shield or are not triggers. So pretty safe target is Carol, right? Because it's not really doing anything for you in deck. You already have the 2 copies that you can loot for the rides.
I'm like, I got a fish out of here. Doesn't matter, I'm still dead, but I got a fish out of here.
So here we are swinging with the Vanguard. We do not hit a trigger for the offense. So we are just going to swing with Alice, going to be 22-20.
Yeah, I think not seeing a trigger on any of either of the Vanguard swings is kind of killing the flow here. It's taken a lot of pressure off of Erick because he's already at 20k. And not having to deal with like a surprise crit or especially an over trigger coming out definitely makes the turn much easier.
And we are
can
going to see a
defensive heal.
defensive.
He does not get the heal, but it does put him at 30k. It's going to be much harder for anything else here to hit, much easier for him to guard.
And so we are going to see another Catherine skill going down.
At this point, you've put him at 5. Your hand is pretty minimal. You know,
And here we
compared
are.
to what
We
he's
are
going to get,
calling
so you
the
might as well
Chelsea.
push. He's going to push as much as he can.
So one of these rear guards that Erick has is going to retire when Chelsea goes to soul.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're going to
Another hero.
confirm that it does not hit.
That was rough. 2 heal guardians in hand, and he hit the defensive heal.
Yep. So we are just going to just clear up some orders of operation here.
Yeah. It will be, once all the effects finish resolving, it will be passing over to Erick's turn. He does get the ride up with Salem, so he is going to get a full offensive turn, and he does hit the Sybil skill. Unfortunately, he did have to put those 2 to the bottom. Let's go ahead and pay the cost for Salem and for Crystal's skill, so he has a 3-8 quad drive with Sybil's ability to restand. Sybil, Salem.
It's one of the S's.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over, call over with the units, look at top 2, hope to hit a Jewel Knight, and he does. He's got, it looks like 5 in soul. Very quick. It was either 5 or 6. I believe it was 5, but enough.
Yeah. So it seems like Eric is kind of frustrated on going through his plays right now.
So I think he might be in a similar spot that I find myself at times where you're kind of leaving yourself up to the will because you may not have a good hand for the second board state, depending on what you hit on the drive checks, right?
Yeah.
I find myself in this position a lot against other very aggressive decks where I've had to guard so much, or for one reason or another, my hand is smaller than I would like it to be. And so I'm kind of risking trying to build a board and then I might not be able to have what I want in hand for the reset, So I'm going to go ahead and use the Sybil skill, dropping the PG just to dig to try to get a better hand for the second board. It still forces out some cards from hand to guard. And it looks like it was 6, so he does have enough to do Ashley's skill here and still get Salem next.
So here we are. Seeing what he's going to call out, so he opts to call Lele over the Sybil.
Yeah, well, Lele will get him another soul charge guarantee, right? So he has enough, so he's now setting up for probably Ashley in the second board state. And it's going to allow him to put things back in deck. Plus, in this case, he got another unit. It's the trigger, unfortunately, so it's going to be small. However, it's still a 21k call.
Just looking at the positives out of something.
Yeah, so right now the Lele swings for skill and to eat a card from hand. And then the 21k column still eats another card from hand. So it's not horrible. And he does choose to just take the hit.
All right.
Because in that case, you probably could not guard any further. So Erick will take it.
And so, sadly, it is a quick round 5 match.
Yeah, but honestly, sometimes those quick rounds aren't horrible. Sometimes they're just a nice, nice breather. Go ahead and start resetting some of the things so we have less setup to do for next round. So whether or not we have a round 6 in Swiss depends on if the